A recent survey on alcoholism shows Oregon is one of the worst states in the country. Experts say a staggering 12% of people in the state suffer from alcohol abuse. KEZI 9 News reporter Ariel Yacobazi joins us live now in the studio after talking with experts about why it's grown to be so problematic and what can be done to help. Ariel.
Yeah, Matt, alcoholism and drug abuse are two things that are very prominent here in the state of Oregon. Experts say at the root of the issue is a lack of funding, and if help does not show up, the problem will only get worse.
It's a problem that's been around for years, and according to recent data, it's something that won't be going away anytime soon. Chris Wigg, the program director for emergence addiction and behavioral therapies, says our numbers here in Oregon are skyrocketing.
12% of the overall population is an astronomical number for people who experience a specific illness. And that alcohol use disorder and alcohol use is one of the main indicators of many different kinds of mortality, such as heart disease, cirrhosis, driving while impaired, that there are all sorts of negative consequences that comes from that much consumption of alcohol.
He says alcoholism can lead to things like heart disease, cirrhosis, and drunk driving.
The effect of alcohol is very interesting because it's something we don't often talk about.
According to Steve Harris, the outreach manager for Serenity Lane, alcoholism isn't talked about nearly enough. In fact, he tells me roughly 76% of working people have a problem with alcohol use.
What we see a lot and hear a lot about is the effects of drugs and what's going on with that. And alcohol is kind of that unseen or not talked about much because it's legal and it's accepted and used safely by, a large majority of the population.
Harris, a former addict himself, says when it comes to talking about hangovers, we tend to joke about it. But he says it can still be very serious.
Everywhere between 12 and 20% of the population will have a couple of drinks and then they say, I'll have another one, and then they can't stop.
This is not at a community that is well advocated for, although I would say that that's changed over the last 5 or 6 years.
It's why people like Tara Hurst are fighting for more funding through Measure 110 or the Drug Addiction Treatment and Recovery Act. It's the tax that comes from buying marijuana in Oregon that is given to organizations across the state to help with this growing issue. But Hurst says more funding is needed to make a difference.
It's really important that we are investing in our community-based providers and really trusting the folks that are on the ground doing the services to be able to do what they need to do, and that, for us at least.
Hurst says that since Measure 110 has been in effect, more than 16,000 people were able to get access to the services they needed to get help. Reporting live in the studio, Ariel Yacobazi, KEZI 9 News.